Our goal here is to engage, to keep this dynamic. This is a critical conversation for this point in Jewish history. 2 years ago, I stood here in this very conference room at a conference about Aliyah organized by the same great Tzvi Fishman, Kol HaKavod Tzvi, Eifo she'ein ish, tishtadel liot ish. It's critical to have a conference like this. And I made 2 points then. The first point I made back then was sounding the alarm is not the way to go when it comes to advocating and encouraging Aliyah, screaming danger from the rooftops, showing the radical dissolution of American society, and Jews are being ripped apart in the middle of it, the Jewish standing, the Jewish safety, the Jewish assimilation, everything that is facing the Jewish people today, and screaming, you got to come home for your lives. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Not only doesn't it work because it's curiously ineffective, but also I think it's beneath the dignity of the land of Israel. People should be coming to Israel and running to a life of meaning and passion and the fulfillment of the thousands-year-old dream of Shivat Zion, the greatest revolution in world history. So that's number one. Thank you, Avi. And the second point I made was, don't push for Aliyah. It's just too big and formidable a thought. For us here in this room, we look at our Aliyah date, and it's a day that we celebrate. It's like a birthday. It's one of the greatest, happiest days in our lives. But a lot of people, understandably, it's such a formidable ask to pick up your family, leave to a country that we've heard a lot about right now, and we just hit the tip of the spear about the endemic problems in the government here in Israel, and a new economy, and new jobs, new language. It's just a lot. So I said, don't push for Aliyah. Just advocate for a sabbatical. Come for 1 year, because I just know the way things work. When you come and you breathe the air of the land of Israel and you walk the earth of the land of Israel and you meet just the Jews, not the government and the politicians, and just the Am Yisrael, you can't go. Once you just take that red pill, there's just no going back. So that was what I said, but the truth is that was a very different conference. That conference was 2 years ago, and it seems like 20 years ago. We're in a very different world right now. And so this is not really an Aliyah encouragement pep rally. This is not, we're not here to encourage Aliyah. This is not about the why of Aliyah. This is more about the how. The why you can see on the campuses. I don't know if you're watching live, but it's insane what's going on campuses right now as we speak throughout America, throughout the West. The vandalized cemeteries, the burnt synagogues and restaurants. You know, there's a revitalized wave of Jew hatred that is sweeping throughout the world, and every Jew feels it deep down. They can stick their head in the sand and delude themselves and say, oh, it's against the Zionists and I'm not a Zionist. But the collective memory of Am Yisrael is being activated. The collective consciousness, we're all feeling it and we know what's happened. So this is not necessarily about the why, it's about the how. How can we make Aliyah an easier process, a smoother process, a more affordable process? You know, there's so many Jews that are afraid of the idea. How can we really greet them with open arms and encourage them to come? How can we take Aliyah from this fringe movement of the most courageous to being a mainstream movement that doesn't take all the courage in the world, but it just makes sense? I know that sounds like beyond us to even do such a thing, but it should at least be the goal that we're aspiring to. And so that's what we're talking about today. Really, the question is, how do we get this Aliyah application at least in the hands of every Jew? Yehuda, when you go to America to these colleges, just let them know it's an option. It's a real thing. Fill it out and you could come here. It's a real option. How do we make everybody realize that that's a real thing?